Each year at this event, we try to identify a student or a graduate to tell the story of how Blue Ridge Community College impacted their life. This year, we have not only an alumni of Blue Ridge Community College, but also a current English faculty member. I'm not going to say too much about her because I want her to tell you the story. So without much further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Alissa Cruz, a faculty member here at Blue Ridge Community College.
Hello everybody, I'm really excited to be here today. At first I was so shocked they asked me to come talk to you guys, but then I started to think, I came here when I was 16 for the first time, so I have spent half my life on this campus. So I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. So I'm here to share with you all how Blue Ridge changed the trajectory of my life, and I mean this very, very sincerely. I want to share how impactful Blue Ridge has been to me, but in order to do that, I need to share a little bit of my background with you all. So, started off, I grew up in Alaska, and I lived with my mother and my little brother, and we lived in a log cabin, no running water, no electricity, no indoor plumbing. And if you're from Alaska, this is very normal. But when I moved to the lower 48, I would tell people that casually, and they're like, what? But that's how I grew up. I have a lot of beautiful memories of growing up with my mother and my brother, watching my mom cook on a wood fire stove, looking at the northern lights. It was very impactful for me. As much as I have these beautiful memories, it was overcast with some darkness. I grew up in poverty, and my mother was amazing, but we had an abusive relationship with my biological father. And I share this to show my background, to show you how much Blue Ridge has really changed my life, but also poverty and abuse and other things, they tend to go hand in hand, and this is where a lot of our students are coming from. And this is why it's so important that we have community college, because it really is changing people, changing their lives, and changing their potential children's lives. So this is why I'm sharing my background with you. Due to the nature of my biological father, we moved so many times. So it ended up, the number, by the time I was 18, we had moved 50 times. So I lived in California, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Georgia, Alabama, Missouri, Connecticut. I've lived so many places. And I share this because my education was erratic at best. So when I was in 6th grade, I went to 4 different schools. So it was very, very hard. I was a voracious reader, so I consumed everything that I could, and reading changed my life. It helped me escape, but it also helped me to learn and to be empathetic and to grow. So this is what reading did for my life. My mother was finally able to break away from my biological father, and it changed our life. She worked 3 jobs. She got us a little bit ahead in life. She met my stepfather, who I call Dad, and we moved to Verona. Okay, and this is where Blue Ridge comes in. Okay, so we come here, and I came to Blue Ridge because I was ahead in school. So I started to come to Blue Ridge, and I started taking English classes and history classes, computer classes. And I was so excited, but when I came to Blue Ridge, no one had ever talked to me about going to college ever. I ended up at Blue Ridge because I didn't have to take an SAT or anything. I didn't understand how to take an SAT. I didn't know how to fill out a college application. I did not understand what a college credit was. I could write a book to you about what I did not know, seriously. But when I came to Blue Ridge, I remember advisors that walked me through things and did not make me feel ashamed. I remember sitting in Marlena Jerbo's class, and she did not make me feel bad about my inept computer skills, right? I could ask any faculty member, any advisor, anybody walking down the hall to help me, and they would, even if I didn't know exactly what to ask. I was encouraged at Blue Ridge in a way that I had never been encouraged before. In high school, middle school, I started taking high school classes in middle school, and everybody's like, you're smart, but still no one talked to me about going to college. So ending up at Blue Ridge, it was a fluke, right? And I just wanted to emphasize that, again, I didn't understand how anything in college worked at all. But because of the people that were here, and some of them are still here now, I was able to work through college. I came to college because I knew that I wanted a different type of life, but I also didn't know how to obtain that at all. I just knew, okay, if I get a degree, I'm not going to have to work 3 jobs like my mother. If I get a degree, I don't have to move 50 times. If I get a degree, I can change my life. But I still didn't know what that meant. So I start taking these classes, and people like Julia Bland, who was an English professor here, and Samantha Franklin, and Donna Ladd, they made me feel seen, and they made me feel like I could succeed. And they were able to guide me, and I was made to feel worthy. And this is what Blue Ridge faculty do every day. So it's not that this is a unique story, and I want to make sure that everyone knows that. This is what faculty did for me years ago, but this is what people at Blue Ridge make possible for students now. Another thing about Blue Ridge is Donna Ladd would do these study abroad trips. So I'm sitting in class as a teenager, I'm working my 2 to 3 jobs so I can pay for my college classes while I'm here, and she brings up these pictures, and she's like, oh, we can study abroad, we can go do these things. I'm like, wait, we can? This is just like in movies, right? Nobody gets to do this. And so I was able to apply for grants, and I paid for part of my trips, but I was able to apply for grants and scholarships, and I was able to go to Scotland and England and Italy through Blue Ridge. And yes, these are really fun trips, but I cannot tell you how much I grew from these trips. The world opened up to me through these trips. It changed my mind, it changed my heart, it changed how I saw the world, and I saw these unending possibilities, and I became addicted to traveling. I had a lot of life-changing events while I was at Blue Ridge, as a lot of our students do. My brother died, I ended up having a baby. I had a lot of financial hardships, right? Like I said, I'm working 2 to 3 jobs to get through Blue Ridge because I was determined in my mind, I cannot have any debt. I've got to get through school without any debt because I was terrified of it growing up in poverty. So I had a lot of life-changing, challenging events. But Blue Ridge, and I mean this so sincerely, Blue Ridge, the institution, the people, were always here to support me as I went through these things. So I came to class and I'm like, this is my situation. And they were always there to help me. I wasn't a slacker, I promise. But they were always there to help me and to guide me. Without the support, I would not have made it through. Again, this is why community college is so important. This is why Blue Ridge is so special and why it's so special to me. I graduated and I went on to Mary Baldwin, where I had an amazing experience as well. As I'm going through Mary Baldwin, I started to have a lot of pushback from my partner at the time. He was like, you've gotten enough education, you could quit now. And I'm like, no, I hadn't received my bachelor's yet. And I share this because I see a lot of our students share this as well, that their families or friends, they are not proud of their accomplishments. And that's a really hard place to be. If you're first generation and you are coming out of poverty and you are changing how you do things, a lot of people do not see this in a positive way, and this is really hard. So my partner pushed me to quit. I had family members that would not talk to me any longer. They said that I was stuck up and I was too good for them. And so while I'm changing my life, these things are extremely hard on the other side. So I kept on. partially because I'm just really stubborn, partially because I knew that I needed degrees, I knew I needed more to change my life, but partially because of people that I met at Blue Ridge that were still encouraging me, and people that I met at Mary Baldwin, my professors, who were encouraging me, no, you can do this, you do need to do this. So because of Blue Ridge and the people that I met here, I saw that a different life was obtainable, and now I had a model for that. So before, I just knew I needed a different life. I knew I needed a different way, but I didn't know how to make that possible. But Blue Ridge showed me it was obtainable. So then I go on to JMU. I'm in my master's program, and an adjunct position comes open for the English department. And I had a choice to make. Do I sit in my comfortable serving position, right? I had waitressed for years at this point. Do I stay here where I'm really comfortable, I know what I'm doing? Or do I go out on this limb and start to become an adjunct and do what I want to do with my life? And it sounds so silly because this is what I'm working towards, but it was a really scary thing for me. And so I did make the choice, and I became an English adjunct for Blue Ridge, and it was the best experience ever. And I grew and I learned how to become a professional individual, which was something I had no clue how to do before. So I learned a lot. I continued to grow. I graduated from JMU, and my biggest goal was to become full-time at Blue Ridge, but there wasn't an opening. So I went to South Carolina as a full-time instructor, and I learned so much. I can't even begin to tell you. But I became to appreciate Blue Ridge more and more, because what I realized as I worked for other places, Blue Ridge is really special, not only for students, but for faculty as well. There is a community here, there is support here, and I craved that, and I wanted to come back so badly. The culture at Blue Ridge is truly special for students and people that work here as well, faculty and staff. I ended up coming back to Virginia, and I worked in the VCCS, and I loved my job. But I still wanted to come back to Blue Ridge, because as special as that job was within the VCCS, it still wasn't Blue Ridge. And I wanted to come back to Blue Ridge really badly. So in January, I was able to come back full-time, and I was so, so happy. And so now I'm here full-time, and I am still growing and still learning, and I'm still really supported here. So I just wanted to share with all of you how Blue Ridge changed my life and showed me how to obtain a different type of life. It gave me connections, and it gave me opportunities that I would have never had without community college. But in addition to changing my own life, something that makes me so excited that I didn't realize till recently, it changed my daughter's life. So I have 2 little girls, and they're so funny because they think about the world entirely different than I do. They see community college as just the next step, and I do not push that at all. I've never said that, but they just naturally think community college, that's the next step, Mom. They talk about it all the time. And they see it as something normal but also exciting. It's not a giant leap to them to go to college, right? It's the next step. And they don't dream as little girls of changing their life and changing a struggle. They just see it as, okay, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to be this. So they have different types of dreams than I had when I was a child. So my one, she wants to be a surgeon. This could change, I'm well aware, but she wants to be a surgeon, and she sees that as obtainable. My other one, she wants to work at Blue Ridge with me, and her big goal is that we're gonna be prepared for this. We're gonna share an office and a mini refrigerator so she can have good snacks. Okay? It is very important. But I just want to share this because I want you all to see that Blue Ridge, the community, the people, the faculty, the staff, the donors, these people changed my lives, but inadvertently they literally changed my children's lives. And this is what Blue Ridge does for our community, and this is what it does for our people. So that's what I wanted to share. Thank you so much for having me.
wondering why we're getting so many bills for mini fridges. So. No, seriously, Alissa, your story is a compelling example of how Blue Ridge has an impact on so many people's lives. Not only the people that come here, but their families. It just really is so impactful and so inspiring. And for those of us who have been around a little longer than others, and you look back and you see somebody like you, I know I speak for Donna Ladd, where's Donna? And Julia Bland, who's not here today, and Marlena, who had the honor of having you in class. I know all of us just see in you a new generation of people coming and helping the next generation along in ways totally different than we were able to help. So, yeah, Blue Ridge is cool.